All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to bring you an update on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. This has been a massive week. We've had information come at us at a record pace. Several Bitcoin miners put out major releases. In addition to that, Bitcoin is on the move, hitting all-time highs. So I want to go through and do a quick video and talk about all that and bring you guys an update. Also, I want to let you guys know we will be doing a live stream as always today, Friday, December 31st. So that's today after the market closes. So you're welcome to join us. We're going to talk about all this in a lot more detail, but I want to go through what's going on because it's just so much information. It's almost hard to digest all this. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if you're interested, for $5 a month, we do have a membership for the channel. I do a members only video every single week. In addition to that, we have a members only Discord, and also we do a once a week members only live stream. So it's an awful lot for just a little bit of money, $5 a month. So if you're interested, if you want to help support the channel, it does help and it's much appreciated. Special thanks to all of my existing members. Yesterday alone, we got news from CleanSpark and MicroStrategy. That was massive news. CleanSpark released their annual financial results. Their year end is September 30th, so this is their annual results. They did a conference call as well, which I listened to, so we're going to talk about all of that. There was a lot of information in that was actually very surprising. A lot of times these financial results are kind of humdrum and boring because we get monthly updates. A lot of times there's not too many surprises in the financial results. This time I was surprised by almost everything in there. Some of it you could say was good. Some of it you could say, I don't want to use the word bad, but some of it is not what I was expecting. And I do think we need a lot more information on CleanSpark. So I will be digging into that and doing a much larger deep dive later. But we will talk about that a little bit in this video right now. In addition to that, MicroStrategy made a gigantic announcement yesterday. All that overshadows the fact that a few days ago, CleanSpark made maybe one of the biggest announcements from a Bitcoin miner in Bitcoin miner history. In addition to that, Iris Energy put out a big update. So an awful lot went on this week. I want to start though with Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin one-day chart. At the moment, we're off of our highs for the day. We'll see. It's very early in the day as I'm recording this, but you can see already today we have a candle wick. Bitcoin got up to $38,846. That is its high on the year 2023. We've been waiting to break out. We have a green line at $38,454. Bitcoin hit that on November 24th. That was 1 week ago. That was last Friday. You can see we've twice tested that line and it turned out to be resistance both of those times. That was on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yesterday we had a little bit of a down day, and now already this morning we have broken through that line. Now we've pulled back below it at the moment, but that doesn't change the fact that we now have a higher high for the year in the year 2023 set today. So this continues a massive trend of higher highs and higher lows. We are now in December of 2023. This entire year has been a bull market for Bitcoin. The year's not over. We did have 3 pullbacks of 20% each throughout the year, but even with those 3 pullbacks, we're still up almost 150% on the year this year. So this was a massive up year for Bitcoin. And it's easy to lose sight of that because a lot of this year was brutal. There were several months in the summer where Bitcoin was sideways at around $25,000. I know people got very discouraged. A lot of people left the space, particularly the Bitcoin mining space, because there was about a 4-month window ending in October where the Bitcoin miners absolutely got destroyed. On the average, they were down very close to 50% in a 4-month window at a time when Bitcoin was moving up. So that was extremely discouraging for Bitcoin miners. The price action the last week has been very different. It's been excellent. So we've seen some Bitcoin miners have big breakouts in this last week. Bitfarms had a gigantic breakout this week after having a dip last Friday on the news that they did a private offering and did some stock dilution. The announcement that they put out this week overshadowed that drastically. As I talked about on last Friday's live stream, and as I talked to the members about in the members only Discord, I viewed that stock dilution last Friday as a massive buying opportunity for Bitfarms. So I did buy. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to buy. Everybody's got to make their own decisions, but we did talk about this. And, you know, a part of this whole deal is being up to date on information and understanding what it means. So to me, that press release was a big signal. Bitfarms had given a couple of big indicators earlier that they were going to be buying machines very soon. They said so on their previous conference call. They said so in their monthly update last month. So when they did a stock dilution, to me, that was tipping their hand that a press release was imminent, and sure enough, within just a few days of that, we got the biggest press release Bitfarms has ever issued. So I want to take a quick look at that because this is an absolute game changer for Bitfarms. Please drop down in the comments if you're interested in a deep dive. It is highly likely I'm going to do a deep dive on this because this was by far the biggest press release that they've ever done. This was by far the biggest purchase of miners they've ever made. This was an absolute game changer for Bitfarms. It definitely does require a lot deeper dive, but for the moment, I do want to let you guys know. So this came out on November 27th. Earlier this week, Bitfarms initiates transformative fleet upgrade that supports 17 exahash and 391 megawatts. Bitfarms right now is at about 6.3 exahash. They did grow their exahash this year. They were up about 50%. They added about 2 exahash for the year this year. So a lot of investors left Bitfarm. A lot of the Bitfarm investors that stayed have been very, very discouraged. Over the course of the last half of the year this year, I've gotten more negative comments regarding Bitfarms maybe than any other Bitcoin miner. People were just exhausted of the sideways and downward price action. But you can see they're going to go from 6.2 exahash to 17 exahash. Now, the first stop along the way is to 12 exahash. That's basically a double. But in addition to that, they're going to swap out almost their entire fleet. So in addition to doubling their exahash, they're going to drastically reduce the energy that they use, and they become significantly more energy efficient, reducing their cost per coin. So like I said, this basically transforms their entire business. This is a totally different company than it was prior to this press release. This is the one that I have been waiting for. So this kind of got lost in the haze. Bitfarms did have a gigantic day the day they put this announcement out. They were up 26%. They followed that up with an up 11% day. So they had a very nice run this week, but I only think the run has just begun. Again, not financial information. There's a lot of variables that go into what's going to happen into these stocks in the short term versus the long term. I am more of a long-term investor, but to me, this was the biggest announcement of the week was from Bitfarms. This will put them in the conversation. This puts them very similar in exahash to Riot and to CleanSpark. They will likely pass Riot in exahash, at least for a few months at some point during the year 2024. So this puts them in the conversation among the elite group of Bitcoin miners. I think people did not perceive Bitfarms that way, but once you dig into this a little further, I think you're going to see this puts them in that group. And from a market cap standpoint, they are significantly smaller market cap than the rest of the companies that we talked about, particularly Riot and Marathon. Riot and Marathon are 5 or 6 times the market cap of Bitfarms. So you can see why I think there's potential for a lot of room to grow. So definitely Bitfarms is one I would have on your watch list. And again, drop in the comments if you're interested in a deep dive on exactly what Bitfarms did here, because it was comprehensive. Okay, and then this news hit yesterday. MicroStrategy bought over 16,000 Bitcoin in the month of November. That is the most Bitcoin they've bought in any month in over 2 years. It's, I think, the second biggest month they've ever had buying Bitcoin. So you can see this says software intelligence firm MicroStrategy has announced another massive Bitcoin investment, purchasing 16,130 Bitcoin for approximately $593 million, bringing the total of its treasury to 174,530 Bitcoin. This is by far, by many multiples, the most Bitcoin any publicly traded company holds. That's their own Bitcoin. There are other companies that are exchanges that hold Bitcoin in custody for others. MicroStrategy is different. This is their Bitcoin. They're buying it for themselves as a hodl strategy. This has essentially turned into a proxy play on Bitcoin, and a leveraged one at that. They're now up over $1 billion in profitability. People have been questioning Michael Saylor's strategy here, but with this run up, you can see they're now profitable. They're up $1 billion on this. Now, they don't get to show that on their financial statements, so there will be a big financial statement adjustment coming. The financial statement accounting rules have changed. They're going to get to market all their Bitcoin, and that's going to be a multi-billion-dollar adjustment in one quarter whenever they choose to adopt this, most likely sometime in the year 2024. So that is ahead for MicroStrategy. Also yesterday, Iris Energy put out a press release updating their growth plans. They have massive growth plans. They have a 600 megawatt facility that they're in the middle of building. They put out a press release with their last quarter quarterly earnings. They put out a $500 million at-the-market offering. They talked about building out this entire facility and infrastructure. Their first target is to get to 10 exahash, so they've made progress on this. Iris Energy increases mining capacity to 8.3 exahash. So they're not operating at 8.3 exahash, but they have bought additional machines. They bought the very same machines that Bitfarms bought. 1.3 exahash acquisition of new generation Bitmain T21 miners. Those are 19 joules per terahash. Those are the same ones that Bitfarms just bought, only Bitfarms bought 35,000 of them, with an option for another 28,000. So this was a purchase of 7,000, but this is just another step along the way for Iris to get to their 10 exahash. Their plans are actually to get much, much bigger than that. But you can see self-mining capacity expanded to 8.3 exahash. 5.6 exahash is operating right now. 1.4 exahash is in S21s that they recently announced they were going to buy. And now this announcement, 1.3 exahash, in the T21 miners. This news was largely overshadowed, but Iris Energy stock has had an exceptional run over the last week. I think people are finally starting to see what Iris Energy was planning. So congratulations if you have held on to your Iris Energy stock through all this. The last week has been a very good week for you. Hopefully that continues. Okay, last but not least, CleanSpark put out their annual financial results for the year 2023. They have September 30th was their year-end financial results. They put out those results. The market, I think, was, I don't want to use the word shocked, but the market did not take well to this. At one point last night, in addition to being down 5% on the day, CleanSpark stock was down another 15% in after-hours trading last night. It's doing better than that so far this morning. A part of that is that Bitcoin is on the move big time. So I'm not sure the market has fully digested this. I spent hours and hours last night going through these numbers. I did listen to their conference call. There was a massive amount of information. I was surprised by a lot of the information in this. I will tell you, their cost per coin was more than I thought it was. Their overhead was more than I thought it was going to be. They did a lot of dilution. There was more dilution than I thought that they were going to have. So all of those things are concerns that need to be addressed. But I will tell you, on the flip side, this company has had monumental growth, and they increased their liquidity position in a massive way. So I will definitely be doing a deep dive. The amount of information that came out in this announcement from CleanSpark yesterday was gigantic. And more importantly, a lot of it did not match up with the investors' expectations. So I am really going to take my time. I will try to get a video out this weekend on exactly what's going on with CleanSpark. But I do think as far as the Bitcoin mining investment community goes, this news hit hard. Our private Discord had hundreds of comments in the discussion last night regarding this. It was clear in after hours that the market was shook by this news for sure. I will do a deep dive and tell you, I do think there's real concerns here with CleanSpark and what they did. However, on the other side, I do think there was an awful lot of very good news in this press release. So this is one where it's not easy to make a flippant comment, this was good or this was bad. We really need to dig into these numbers. I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. I'm not selling any of my CleanSpark position. It's my largest position out of all the Bitcoin miners. I'm definitely still very bullish on CleanSpark, but I do have big questions that I would like answers to, and I don't think we're going to get answers in the next days. I think we may, for some of these things, have to wait until next quarter's financial results. This was certainly the big news of the day for Bitcoin mining investors, but I think from the overall market's perspective, the fact that MicroStrategy made their second largest monthly purchase of Bitcoin in their history is going to be gigantic news. I think in addition to that, the fact that today Bitcoin has hit another new high for the year in 2023 is big news. So we've got a lot of things going on. I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin, even for the rest of this year. Obviously, I'm bullish in the long term. So just to close out, we're going to keep our eye on the Bitcoin price action today. Again, we will have a live stream. We'll be very close to the end of today's daily candle for Bitcoin by the end of that live stream. So we'll get to take a look at what happened today. We've already set a new high for the year. So I think there's a lot of good things going on, a lot of information left to go through. So please drop in the comments. What are you most interested in hearing about? So this is not my normal format, but I really just wanted to get out. There was so much going on. I wanted to get a video out to you guys because a A lot of my deep dive videos take a long time for me to get out. I wanted to get something out a little more quickly to communicate with you guys, so let me know if you like this type of a format and you want to see more of these. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the live stream.